Can we win?
Yes.
And what will be your concluding remarks, your recommendations as well, whilst we prepare to wrap up?
Okay, so again, from a psychological lens, there's a model called the biopsychosocial model.
Okay.
Means biological level, which could mean genetics. Like if there's a history of an addictive parent in the family, it's possible that you could also become one.
Okay.
And then social factors, peer pressure, and then emotional dysregulation. When we talk about when you meet the dark part of your life and you don't know how to cope with that, then you start to fall on drugs for coping or maybe for fun. Normally it's for fun, but at the long run it becomes a cycle of dependence and tolerance. When this happens, it means that it can really expose you and you would lose control of that. And then lastly, social factors, unemployment, and then family dynamics, and governance policy and stuff like that. So to take it from that aspect, we come in a psychological space, as in the awareness. Already there's a lot of stigma attached to mental health disorders. People shy away from it, and people still relapse because they don't want to, in quotes, see the shrink, because there's something wrong with you. And even at workplaces, people don't tell their managers or bosses that they are seeing a psychologist because it could affect their work. And so even if you are using, you wouldn't want to. And when you become helpless or hopeless, you still would want to, because of the masculinity aspect of it. People, exactly, right? So in order to exert this energy, you just rather go deeper and darker into this loom. And so we would say the advocacy aspect of it, still banking on the fact that mental health is a psychological illness, and that recovery process is 100% possible. With early intervention, you are likely to still live your life like an everyday normal person. Number two is to also encourage people to complete therapy, the full rehabilitation time limit for therapy, because some people come, and because therapy is a heavy mental health work for the individual. It has a lot of personal reflections to do on learning behaviors, and then the questioning of your purpose in life. Do you have a meaning to life? What do you want to achieve in life? Like, what are the social dynamics or triggers stopping you from becoming who you want to become in life? And so when an individual is exposed to their own monsters, they normally want a place of escape. Like, a lot of people cannot really stand who they are, and so they fall out of therapy, and there's really no progress at all. And so when you make a point to start therapy, I encourage you to complete it. And then number three, I would say it's always the wisest decision to ask for help. Asking for help is strength, right? It's not as if you're weak or it robs you of your masculinity, or it robs you of your anything. It's just being human, and we all have emotions, right? A lot of this stigma and stereotypes about men do not have emotions. We all do, but we express it differently. God will never create anything without an emotion, because emotions will help you to make better decisions in life. And so please ask for help if you need it. And if you are belonging to any work institution, always advocate for health insurance that includes mental health support and services. And if you can afford yourself, also do. And let's also support the government, the CSOs. One way or the other, you can volunteer. You can also donate to NGOs or even personal campaigns that promotes positive behaviors, going into the school system and then workplace and then community programs. For example, in our funerals like this, people will just go and drink and pass out. There's no really regulation for that as well, and it's a norm. Like, we all have come to accept that at funerals people will have to booze, right? So there's still a lot we have to do about this. And then talking about resilience or the recovery processes, like Mr. Sharif also spoke about opportunities. It's like a blur area, right? Because there are many youth who do not really know what they want to become, right? And a lot of times, because of how our educational system is structured, people would just go through education and become somebody they are not, and they spend the rest of their life questioning, who am I in this profession? Am I doing it because of the money? Am I doing it because it's like a survival, skill for me to just live up to that? And so when we talk of opportunities, we also need to include the psychological perspective of teaching the youth of how to make critical decisions, of how to choose career, because there are so many personalities that can determine the kind of profession that is right for you. And so when you include us, right, into helping the youth to teaching them mental health and psychological and personality traits and things, then they can make quick and early decisions about their life than to just follow the crowd, right? If your friend is doing accounting, then you also just want to do accounting. But psychology teaches us that if you lose your sense of value in whatever profession, then you cease to exist. You become stuck in that profession. And so, we just ended here.
I mean, but